The garrison can then use murder holes in the ceiling and walls to finish off the intruder.
Murder holes is wild. Alright, how to build the perfect
In Europe's Middle Ages,
medieval castle.
Castles dominated not just warfare, but society itself.
Wait, really? Okay, 10 seconds in, I'm already learning something new.
Strongholds are as old as war, but the medieval castle was unique. A refuge and a projection of military force, a lordly residence and symbol of power, a centre of justice and government. Today, castle ruins are found from the Atlantic coast to the hills of Syria.
Yo, what the heck? This looks like a European castle. Actually, no, never mind, I'm tripping.
Dramatic and poignant reminders of a lost feudal world. There was no single blueprint for the castle. Every one was unique. But by analysing key trends over 4 centuries, Epic History TV is proud to present its guide to building the perfect castle.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm about to learn a lot that I've never heard of before, so I actually look forward to this.
The medieval castle was the product of a feudal world. A world we'll explore with help from our video sponsor, Crusader Kings 3. Using the in-game...
Oh, dude, I consider buying this game, but... Nah. Freaking, dude, Paradox games are just... Oh my gosh.
Allowing you to forge your own epic tale of dynastic triumph. Crusader Kings... When building a new castle, the first and most important consideration is location. A castle should dominate the landscape, with good views in all directions, so hills are ideal. Steep slopes and river bends can be used to limit approach routes, making the site easier to defend. And for building work, a local source of stone, wood and soil is essential, as transporting these materials over medieval roads is more expensive than the materials themselves.
Wait, what? Wait. But why? Is it because the logistics were terrible or something? Like, yo, I don't know much about medieval history, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot that I do not know about medieval history. Like, that time period. And I always try to, like, learn more about medieval history, but I'm like, where do I even start? Like, where do I even start?
There must also be a secure local source of fresh water and food to sustain the castle's occupants. A reliable starter castle is the Motte and Bailey, popular with the Normans, who built hundreds across England and Wales during the Norman conquest. The Motte is a mound, either natural or built by hand, as seen here in the biotapestry. It's not just a pile of mud though. These coloured bands are thought to represent alternating layers of stone and clay, which will increase stability. Sometimes they even used stone or timber foundations. A typical motte is 8 meters high and up to 50 meters across. Its top can be defended by a simple wooden palisade and a tower, living quarters for the lord and his entourage, and last refuge in case of attack.
That looks like those mounts that I see on Mountain Blade Bannerlord. Bro, I'm watching this and now I feel like playing Mountain Blade Bannerlord. If you know what that is, bro, like, you're a man of culture. Bro, I haven't played video games in like so long. I only play like one, but I usually just focus on work and my YouTube channel, and that's really it. But this is actually really insightful. This is like brand new info that I've never heard of before.
An earth ditch and palisade should enclose the bailey, to protect important buildings such as a hall, stables, kitchen, stores, and a forge.
Stores?
Timber palisades.
This is a base, right? Why would they have stores? It's not like it's a city or something, right? Like stores? What?
Are vulnerable to fire and rot, so will ideally be replaced by an enclosing stone wall, known as a curtain wall, as soon as possible.
Oh, okay. So, oh, what? I thought that when castles were built, they were just built from stone or brick from scratch. Oh, okay. Oh, so they started out as wood and then they, okay, they replaced it with stone over time. Okay.
Creates the enceinte, or main defensive enclosure. A curtain wall should have crenellations to protect soldiers of the garrison during an attack, as they shoot their bows or crossbows at the enemy. A concealed postern gate, or sally port, can be used during a siege to smuggle messages in and out of the castle, or to launch surprise attacks on the enemy.
Wait, oh my gosh, wait. Is that why? Oh, dude, that explains a lot. Oh my gosh. The fact that I never knew this is criminal to me. Oh, I'm trying to think of a example where this was used, but I can't think of any. If you know a popular example where this was used, tell me. Because I'm pretty sure that there was a well-known siege, but I forgot. Whatever. Within the fortress ought to be one principal tower, built in Stuist manner and fortified as strongly as possible.
In parts of France, such as Anjou and Poitou, castle builders ignored the Motte and Bailey approach and constructed strong stone towers.
Oh, okay, so I was right.
In French, it's called a donjon, the origin of the word dungeon. In England, it's known as the keep. A keep offers better security and accommodation than a wooden tower. But if you try to build one on top of a motte, its weight will cause it to collapse.
Yeah. Dude, how in the world was this even possible? Because you know how we have like architecture and we have architects, we have people who design this stuff. We use science to like determine if this is possible or not. Bro, like how in the world they accomplish this stuff with the technology back then? Like I always wondered that. And like those like mega castle, what was it, like the Notre Dame? I always wondered like how was that even possible with the technology back then? I heard that the Notre Dame took like 800 years to build or something. Like, is that true? Like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, how long did these castles really take, bro? Like, wouldn't I'm just kind of mind blown right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Some opt for a compromise, a shell keep, which keeps the motte and replaces its wooden palisade with a circular stone wall. But a truly imposing keep will have to be built from scratch on carefully prepared foundations.
Okay.
A typical early stone keep is rectangular, between 2 and 4 stories high, with walls up to 6 meters thick. Construction might take up to 10 years and cost a fortune, so large keeps are only built by monarchs and powerful nobles. The biggest keeps have towers at each corner. Within, there might be a hall for meals and entertainment, private apartments, a chapel, and storerooms. A forebuilding creates an impressive and well-guarded entrance, which should be at first floor level, accessed by a wooden staircase, which can be removed in case of attack. If the keep has a cellar, This is an ideal space to store extra provisions, not for chaining up prisoners in the dungeons of popular imagination.
Oh, yeah, I've always heard that cellars were used to or used for like prisoners and whatnot. I never heard anyone say they were like ever used for anything else. Oh my gosh, dude, this is like the one thing that I like about Adventure TV. They're an extremely reliable source of history on YouTube that I can reliably, somewhat reliably, like rely on.
Early keeps are square or rectangular, but later come in many shapes and sizes. King Philippe Augustus of France was particularly fond of circular keeps. Perhaps the most eye-catching of all is Castel del Monte in southern Italy, built by Emperor Frederick II. Its elaborate polygonal structure reminds us that the perfect castle must be elegant as well as formidable.
Towers are to protect floors so that when the enemy approaches, they may be wounded by missiles from the towers.
The curtain wall should be strengthened by flanking towers at regular intervals. These project forward from the wall, so archers can shoot at attacking enemies with enfilade fire, or put another way, attackers will come under fire from the wall ahead of them, as well as from towers to the right and left. Square towers offer large amounts of extra space for living quarters and storage, but their corners are a weak point that can be targeted by enemy stone-throwing artillery, such as a trebuchet.
Bro, what's the difference between a trebuchet and a catapult? Like, I always look like were trebuchets used for a different purpose than catapults? Or were they used for the same purpose? Because I looked at trebuchets and I always thought, wouldn't it just be much more better to use a catapult instead of a trebuchet? Like, it seems like more work and effort goes into a trebuchet than a catapult. I don't know. Like I said, I'm very ignorant about medieval history, so.
So round towers may be a better option. The choice is often one of taste, fashion, and/or cost. Square towers, round towers, and D-shaped towers were all common across Europe.
D-shaped? Oh, wait, is that No, that's not Constantinople.
And many castles feature a mix of types. In some places it was possible to cut costs by reusing old Roman fortifications, as at Pevensey and Portchester on England's south coast. Here the Normans simply built a stone keep within the walls of an old Roman shore fort, saving time, labour and money.
Genius.
Loopholes, or arrow slits, are important additions for any tower or wall section. The earliest versions are simple vertical slits, but from the 14th century, more decorative cross shapes are common. In the event of a siege, wooden hoardings, sometimes called brattice work, can be built out over the walls to allow the garrison to rain boiling water and rocks onto the attacking enemy.
Boiling water? Boiling water? No, this is a new one. Boiling water, okay.
The obvious focus for an attack is the castle's main gate, so its defences, known as the gatehouse, must be especially strong. The ideal solution is to add towers on each side of the gateway, to add an outer and inner gate, and at least one, if not several, portcullises. These metal lattice gates can be dropped vertically to trap attackers in a kill zone. The garrison can then use murder holes in the ceiling and walls to finish off the intruder.
Murder holes is wild.
The The main gate can be further protected by a drawbridge over the outer moat or ditch, which can be raised by chains as an enemy approaches. Through the Middle Ages, gatehouses became increasingly powerful, with multiple drawbridges, gates, and portcullises. The approach covered by looming towers, and every wall and ceiling studded with loopholes and murder holes.
Can't get over that murder holes. Dude, I always wondered to myself, right? You know, will we ever use like walls for our cities again? Because I know that, technology made that obsolete, but what if we do get advanced to the point where we could put shields around cities again? You know what I mean? I always think about that because it's not really a far-fetched idea, right? It's really think about it like this. Let's say we get advanced to the point where we create shields, right? Because that's essentially what walls are. They're just shields. So it's what if we get to that point where we make more advanced shields where you know you can't just enter into the city openly, right? Because you have to factor in bombing as well. Back then they didn't have planes of bomb stuff as well. So you gotta factor that in as well. So my whole thing would be most likely, I don't know. I don't think we're at that point where we could create shield generators and all that stuff. We're not even close to that point. But I don't know. In my personal opinion, I do believe in the future, in the future or something, we might have the technology to the point where we're gonna be kind of sort of having warfare of protection around the towns again. I don't know, that's just a personal opinion.
Some of the most formidable gatehouses are found in the castles built by Edward I to subdue Wales in the late 13th century.
Subdue Wales. Oh yes, English conquest of Wales. Look, bro, I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but English people are not native to Britannia. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. English people are not native to Britannia. Okay. Oh my gosh, and please don't come in my comments saying, but DNA evidence shows that they have Britannic blood, dude. Obviously, because they interbreed with the natives, like duh. But originally, they were pure-blooded Germans. My gosh.
Such imposing wall defences began to make a massive keep seem superfluous, so many of these castles were built without a keep at all. Our castle is now an imposing fortress, able to withstand a siege of several months, if properly provisioned. But to be considered truly epic, a castle should have a second curtain wall enclosing an outer bailey, with its own towers and gatehouse. Gatehouses.
Oh, wait a minute. This is what I think Antioch was kind of built like this. Yeah. Antioch was kind of built like that. Yeah. With the citadel inside. Yeah. When it reacted to the First Crusade. Yeah.
Should be positioned at angles to the approach route, so any attacker has to twist and turn rather than make a direct rush at the gate. Towers and walls should now feature stone machicolations for dropping rocks on the enemy, far more sophisticated than temporary wooden hoardings. The new outer bailey, or ward, allows more buildings to be brought within the castle's defences, not forgetting that a medieval castle is as much a residence as fortification. Perhaps a new, grander hall for entertaining your household and important guests, kitchen gardens, and extra living quarters. The outer ditch or moat can be flooded with water to create an extra layer of defence. A water moat also has decorative value and can be a source of fresh fish. A final flourish.
Well, wouldn't that be like a detriment though? Because like, let's say you're under siege, right? And you know you have to like send help. Like, where would you go? Because there's water everywhere. Like, I think this is kind of a bad bad thing to add in this case.
A barbican, an outlying fortification that adds yet another layer of defence to the main entrance. This is now a fine and formidable example of a concentric castle. Its design will force any attacker to overcome successive layers of strong defence to reach the final refuge, the keep. If properly garrisoned and supplied, a castle like this was virtually impregnable until the age of gunpowder.
But how long did it take to build a castle like this? How long? Also, wait a minute. Didn't they have like catapults and whatnot? How effective were catapults and trebuchets at destroying castle walls, right? I've heard of them, but I've never really heard of their effectiveness being used in battle.
As we have seen, there was no single blueprint for the medieval castle. Each was built to take advantage of the landscape, to incorporate the latest military thinking, and reflect regional styles and personal taste. The most awe-inspiring examples from the castle's golden age include Crac des Chevaliers, the supposedly impregnable crusader fortress of the Knights Hospitaller; Dover Castle, known as the Key to England; and Malbork Castle, the gigantic brick-built headquarters of the Teutonic Knights.
Gorgeous.
By
That is, yo, look at that. That is actually gorgeous.
the 15th century, the castle's role was in steep decline, in part due to the rise of gunpowder weapons, such as cannon, but more fundamentally because the feudal world that gave rise to the castle had fallen away, to be replaced by professionalized armies and centralized royal authority.
Oh.
As the age of power
So castles were like a political entity to like project the lord's or king's power amongst the feudals. Is that what I'm getting at right now?
powerful feudal lords ended, so too did the age of the castle. Most would ultimately slide into ruin. Their military
But castles would still be kind of useful in the early gunpowder age, right? But why would castles just disappear when the feudal era ended? I would like for someone to explain that to me in much more greater detail because I'm actually really curious about that now.
role replaced by artillery forts, their residential role taken over by palaces and stately homes, as the age of the castle gave way to the age of the chateau. Thanks again to our video sponsor.
Okay, yeah, that was actually very insightful. Yo, dude, you made it all the way here. Make sure you subscribe, dude. Don't forget to like as well. You know, if you like what I have to say, go check out my other videos on my channel. If you have any suggestions, especially about medieval history, because I do need to learn a lot about medieval history, comment it down below and I'll react to it. But yeah, this is actually a really good video to react to, man. Thank you for watching and goodbye.